the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Sentir Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Sentir's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Sentir Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Sentir.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
The young men and women who become United States Marines come from our hometowns to become a part of something greater than themselves. This commitment represents the highest level of steadfast allegiance to the betterment of our communities, our country, and our Marine Corps. The journey will be one of the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This
from Teresa and John Gardner Field on the campus of Bethel College here in Mishawaka, Indiana, the Regional Radio Sports Network is proud to present Bethel College softball. This afternoon, the Pilots, who come in with a record of 11-25 on the season, take on the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars, who come in as a record of 16-14. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. J.P. Gilbert above home plate here on a picture-perfect day here in Mishawaka. Wind blowing out from right to left, but not a cloud in the sky as we see nothing but baby blue skies above us. Bethel coming into this game having lost just 6 days ago out in Ohio, losing 4-2 as well as 11-1, as Coach Scott Reese's club, who come in fresh off a sweep at Huntington, but also got swept Saturday at Spring Arbor. So a tale of two different series for the Pilots as they get set in a huge crossroads clash. Taking a look at the standings before today's game, Marion, it sits up top 26-0. They will be the Pilots' opponent tomorrow afternoon. Indiana Wesleyan in that second spot, 19-5, 34-10 overall. Taylor, 18-6, sits third, 26-10 overall. Then a logjam between 4 and 10. Mount Vernon Nazarene, 11-9 in the conference, 16-14 overall. St. Francis, 12-12, 21-28 overall. Goshen at 8-15, 14-25 overall. Huntington, 7-17. 11-23 overall. Spring Arbor, 7-18, 14-23. Bethel, 6-18, sitting just half a game out of that eighth and final conference tournament spot, 11-25 overall. And the Lancers of Grace College, 5-19 in conference, 9-27 overall. So as we look at the standings, big series, not just today, but tomorrow when they take on the Marion University Knights, number 3 ranked team in the nation, 38-0, 26-0 in the conference. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll sit down with Scott Reese, get his thoughts on the last couple doubleheaders, as well as his thoughts about playing Mount Vernon Nazarene. As you're listening and watching Pilots softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and the proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund, and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org.
Welcome back to the Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of Bethel Pilots softball. Glad to be joined pregame by the head coach of the Bethel College Pilots, Scott Reese. And Scott, let's go back to Thursday. Reserve squad split a doubleheader with the Taylor Trojans. What are some of the things that you as a coaching staff picked out as positives from those two games that you played really well against Taylor?
I really liked what we did offensively for sure in game one. I thought Bethany McKibben, Maddie Morgan, Maddie Reese really did a great job at the plate. Bethany Caldwell has been doing well for us, getting her at bats in those games as well. And then our pitching, did what they had to do in that first game. And we just got to a point in game two where we didn't want to throw Bethany or Maddie anymore because we needed them for Friday and Saturday. So Abby did a great job for us, both at the dish and in the circle, especially since she hasn't even been practicing pitching. She just came in to throw for us because she had thrown before. So I've really enjoyed this group, this entire group, the reserve and the varsity, and we're all one team. And the reserve games are just for the girls that aren't getting their at-bats in those varsity games. So it's just a good opportunity for them to get some playing time and hopefully get some confidence in collegiate experience.
Talked about that Huntington series on Friday. Just you're shaking your head a little bit. It was a tale of two kinds of games. The first game, just an offensive slugfest from both teams. You had Maribel Castro went deep. You also had Morgan Bales that went deep. Quinn went deep. It just seemed like everything that you guys were touching with the bats was going somewhere where their defense wasn't. And then you go into game two, and Brooke comes in and just shuts them down. Talk about, the good teams find a way to win those one-run games, and you guys are a good team. But it's got to be difficult to watch a game like game one where, the balls are going all over the place. But at the same time, it seems extremely easy to watch a game like the one Brooke pitched in game two.
Oh, they're both fun to be a part of, and you said I was shaking my head, but I'd much rather be shaking my head with a smile than with a grimace, and so that's kind of where I was at right there. It's nice to come out with two wins and two totally different type of wins. We were hitting the ball well early, and the wind was blowing out, but every single one of those balls that we hit, I don't think the wind helped at all. I think all the home runs they had, all but one, I thought were well-deserved as well. I thought one was just a routine fly ball that made its way out, but that's what happens when you get that wind and things like that, and pitchers get the ball across the plate to a point where good hitters make good contact. So I was really, really pleased with the way that our offense played, our defense, and even our pitching keeping us where they had to keep it. We're up 15-4, and Huntington comes back at 16-15 to take the lead, and our pitching shut it down at that point too. So, and got us to a point where we could score the 2 runs and win the game late.
You then turned around and played Spring Arbor on Saturday, and even though you guys came out on the short end of the stick with 2 losses, Shelby was a real bright spot at the dish, had 4 hits, I believe, in the game, and really is starting to see the ball much better than she did at the beginning of the year.
She's coming off an injury, so it has taken her a while to kind of get back in the swing of things. But now that she's back where she needs to be, I like what the middle of our lineup can do. That's where we're kind of missing things. Halfway through the season, maybe 60% of the way through the season, we were having some issues trying to get the middle of our lineup to help us out, and so she's going to be a big part of that. And she had a great day. Defensively, we struggled, and you can't expect to win with 6 errors in a doubleheader, and that's what happened. And honestly, they had us for 6 errors. They could have easily given us 7 or 8, but that's the way we'll take what they gave us at this point, and hopefully just move forward and just forget about that performance defensively, especially. Our pitching struggled just to stay consistent. In our offense, I mean, we need all 3 aspects to work, and our offense was okay. Shelby was the bright spot for sure, and I think Shelby had as many hits as the rest of the team combined. So we just got to come back here today against a really tough Mount Vernon team that really took it to us at their place last week, and hope that we can mentally get ourselves prepared as well as physically to come out here and put all 3 aspects of the game together.
And now the starting lineup for your Bethel College Pilot. In left field, number 10, Maribel Castro. In center field, number 2, Marilyn Showalter. In right field, number 9, Mara Younger. At third base, number 5, Hannah Darling. At shortstop, number 7, Quinn Slotman. At second base, number 24, Morgan Bales. At first base, number 19, Haley Stinson. Catching, number 6, Shelby Prowse. And pitching, number 17, Brooke Stoltz. The DP is number 27, Hunter Brummett. The Pilots are coached by Scott Reese in his 3rd season and assisted by Ingrid Reese, Beth Speakter, and Maddie Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please stand, and gentlemen, kindly remove your hats for the contest opening prayer. Lord, thank you for the opportunity we have to honor you through the game of softball. We ask you to protect the players as they compete, keep them free from injury, and help them to display their talents in a way that honors you. Help us all to encourage and cheer with a proper perspective in mind. Thank you for what you are doing and what you have done in our lives. In your name, amen. We ask that you remain standing as we honor America and those who serve and protect it with the playing of our national anthem.
So the starting lineup for Mount Vernon Nazarene will be Maddie Johnston leading off and playing in center. Jennifer Kurlick will bat second. She's the designated player. Megan May will bat third and play at short. Johnston, Kurlick, and May, the top 3 of the order for the Cougars. Batting cleanup is going to be number 00, Mackenzie Huey. She'll do the pitching. Batting 5th, Allison Adams at first base. Batting 6th will be Madison Rule in left field. Huey, Adams, Rule, 4, 5, and 6 for the Cougars. Batting 7th and playing third base will be Courtney Nepper. Batting 8th in center field will be Savannah Richards. And batting 9th And playing at second base is going to be number 24, Cassidy Kane. Nepper, Richards, and Kane, bottom third of the order for Mount Vernon. Nazarene University flex player playing in right field is going to be Tyler Bivens. Defense alignment for the Pilots, it'll be Maribel Castro in left, Marilyn Showalter in center, Mari Younger in right, Hannah Darling at third, Quinn Slotman at short, Morgan Bales at second rather, and Haley Stinson at first. Shelby Prowse behind the plate, and Brooke Stoltz doing the pitching. Brooke 9-10 on the season, 5.03 ERA, as we are set to begin with Maddie Johnston up for the Cougars, and she squares around a bunt. She couldn't pull the bat back in time. Strike one. 3:02 the time of the first pitch. And Stoltz's 0-1 delivery is grounded right back to her in the circle. She mishandles it. And Johnston is able to get to first. So that'll bring up Jennifer Kurlick. No homers, 15 RBIs, hitting .371. Kurlick hitting from the left side. Stoltz gets the sign. She fires one foul back over the screen. Johnston just 2 of 2 in the stolen base department. Mount Vernon has only attempted 10 steals in their first 30 games of the season. Stoltz's 0-1 delivery taken up high, as Kurlick had to duck out of the way. So 1-1 the count to the left-handed hitting Kurlick, senior from Lewis Center, Ohio. Here's the 1-1 over the outside corner, strike two. So 1-2 now to the Cougars' designated player. Here's the 1-2 from Stoltz. Swung on and fouled back over our broadcast area. High above Gardner Field, as Matt Capsey likes to say. No, he's listening back in the office. Here's the 1-2 again from Stoltz, taken high and inside for a ball. 1-1, 2-2. Now the count. Kurlick did her prep work at Olentangy Orange High School. Waiting the 2-2 from Stoltz. Grounded right back to Stoltz, gets a glove on it, tries to flip it, but not in time. As back-to-back infield singles have put runners at first and second. That'll bring up the shortstop, Megan May. May hitting .348 on the season, 3 homers, 28 RBIs. Stoltz looks in from the sign, gets it. First pitch over the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. Hitters have a .329 clip against Stoltz in 96 innings pitched. As the 0-1 is smashed right down to third. Darling keeps the ball in front of her. As back-to-back infield hits have loaded up the bases for the Cougars. And their leading home run hitter is at the dish. Freshman Mackenzie Huey, who will be in the circle for Mount Vernon Nazarene. As Scott Reese comes out to talk to home plate umpire Richard Bray, as they want to take a look at Hannah Darling. So a couple tosses back and forth between Darling and Prowse. As Huey rips one foul down the left side. So they've changed one of the infield hits back to the circle to an error. As the 0-1 from Stoltz. High and outside, 1-1. Darling and Stinson playing about 3 steps in front of the bag on their respective sides. As here's the 1-1. Huey gets a hold of this one in the air as it will go foul over the fence. That'll cause a meeting of the minds in the circle. Shelby Prowse goes out to talk to pitcher Brooke Stoltz. So both the classmates are on the same page, and now it's 1-2 to Huey. Here's the delivery. Just a little bit low, 2-2. Stoltz gets the sign, the 2-2 delivery. Low, 3-2, count runs full. Allison Adams on deck for the Cougars. Nowhere to put Huey. That's the 3-2 pitch coming. Huey lines it towards the Bethel dugout. Huey, the team leader in homers, second in RBIs behind Megan May. It's the 3-2 pitch called, strike 3 for out number 1. That's a huge out for Stoltz. And that'll bring up Allison Adams. Adams hitting .417 on the season, 2 homers, 23 driven in. Here's the first pitch, taken over the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Adams, right-handed hitting sophomore from Cardington, Ohio. So the 0-1 is lined foul towards the parking lot. So Stoltz, after loading the bases, struck out Huey and is now 0-2 on Adams. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Reached at and looped into right. Underneath it is Younger. She'll make the catch. Tagging and scoring is going to be Johnston, and the Cougars take a 1-0 lead. Kurlik and May remain anchored at their respective bases. So that'll bring up Madison Rule. No homers, 6 RBIs, hitting .333 on the year. First pitch high and inside, ball 1. Right-handed hitting freshman from Richwood, Ohio. Awaits the 1-0 from Stoltz. Right over the outside corner, strike 1. Stoltz trying to limit the damage. First 3 hitters walked, and then a strikeout and a flyout. Here's the 1-1. Again over the outside corner, 1-2. Stoltz starting to hit her spots. Keep these Mount Vernon hitters off balance. Here's the 1-2. Just low and outside. Courtney Nepper awaits on deck. Stoltz hoping to keep her there. Here's the 2-2 to Rule. Lofted to left, but that's going to tail foul into the Pilot batting cages. Rule digging into the right-handed batter's box. The 2-2 from Stoltz. Swung on and fouled right at home plate. And we'll do 2-2 again. Kurlick the runner at second, May the runner at first. 1-0 Mount Vernon here in the first inning. Here's the 2-2 from Stoltz again, reached out and fouled into the screen by Rule. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Good battle by the freshman. Stoltz shakes off the sign, shakes off another one, gets the one she likes, and she puts it up high, 3-2. Full count to Rule. Here's the delivery. Fouled off. Rule doing a good job of staying alive in the batter's box. Awaiting the 3-2 again. Popped foul again towards the parking lot. Eleven pitches now in the at-bat. Wind's starting to blow in a little bit now. There's a 3-2 lined up the middle for a base hit. It's going to drop in front of Showalter. Rounding third, trying to score is Kurlick. The throw is cut off, and Kurlick will score standing up, and it's 2-0 Mount Vernon.
At-bat, Courtney Nepper.
So a strong at-bat from Rule. As she'll plate the second Mount Vernon run. So Courtney Nepper stands in. She'll take a ball low and inside. 1-0. Nepper hitting .309 on the season. No homers, 10 RBIs. Sophomore from Newark, Ohio. 1-0. Low and inside again. 2-0. May the runner at second. Rule over at first. As 2-0 pitch taken right down the middle, strike one. 2-0 Mount Vernon. 2 in, 2 on, 2 out. 2-1 count to Nepper. Here's the delivery. Fouled towards the Pilot dugout. And now 2's littering the scoreboard. And speaking of 2's, catcher Savannah Richards awaits on deck. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Fouled towards the parking lot. Remain 2-2. Corner infielders playing 3 steps inside the bag. Awaiting the 2-2 from Stoltz. Popped up once again towards the parking lot. Beyond the Pilot dugout on the third base side. Once again, the 2-2 to Nepper. Popped up on the infield, calling everyone off as Slotman, and she will make the catch to end the inning. But Mount Vernon strikes for 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 errors, and there were 2 left in the inning. We're going to the bottom half of the first inning. Mount Vernon, Nazarene 2, and Bethel coming to bat. Here's the Bethel Pilots starting lineup. Quinn Slotman will lead it off. She'll be over at short. Batting second is going to be Haley Stinson, the first baseman. Hannah Darling, the third baseman, will bat third. Slotman, Stinson, Darling, top third of the order for Scott Reese's club. Hunter Brummett will bat cleanup. She's the designated player. Shelby Prowse, the catcher, will bat fifth. Morgan Bales, the second baseman, will hit sixth. It'll be Brummett, Prowse, Bales, 4, 5, and 6. Mari Younger, the right fielder, will bat seventh. Maribel Castro, the left fielder, will hit eighth. And Marilyn Showalter, the center fielder, will bat ninth. Younger, Castro, Showalter, the bottom third of the order Brooke Stoltz. She's the flex player, and she will be in the circle for the Pilots. Defensive alignment for Mount Vernon. It'll be Rule, Johnston, and Bivens in the outfield from left to right. Courtney Nepper at short, Courtney Nepper at third, Morgan May at short, Cassidy Kane at second, and Allison Adams over at first. The battery of Savannah Richards behind the plate, and Mackenzie Huey in the circle. Huey 4-3 on the season, starting her 4th game of the season, on for the 11th time. 4.59 ERA in 32 innings pitched. Opponents hitting .278, 17 walks, 23 strikeouts as Quinn Slotman steps in. Slotman hitting .348, 2 homers, 24 knocked in. As Huey slides the armband over her right hand, or left hand rather. Looks into her battery mate, Savannah Richards, and gets the sign and the pitch. Is bounced in for a ball, 1-0. Slotman, freshman from Defiance, Ohio. She'll step in from the right-hand side. And the 1-0 from Huey. Just a little, originally thought it was a ball, but he called a strike over the inside corner. So Richard Bray with a generous strike zone. There's the 1-1, up high, 2-1. There'll be Slotman, Stinson, and Darling. Scott Reese's crew tries to claw back from a 2-0 early deficit. Huey gets the sign she likes, kicks and fires. And Slotman dings one off the pole, holding the screen up behind home plate. Even the count at 2. Wind was blowing from left to right to start the game. Now it's blowing from right to left. There's the 2-2 from Huey. Popped in the air, foul, and we'll head towards the parking lot on the third base side. Mother Nature up to her old tricks again. It was snow earlier in the morning, making way to a pristine blue sky, and the wind blowing. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So Slotman strikes out swinging. And that'll bring Haley Stinson to the dish. Haley hitting .304 on the season. No homers, 12 RBIs for the sophomore. Former Adams Central Flying Jet. She'll bat with nobody on and 1 out. This is Huey's first delivery. Taking high and outside for a ball, 1-0. Hannah Darling awaiting on deck. Nepper and Adams both playing about 4 to 5 steps in. Here's the 1-0 from Huey, right over the outside corner. Nice fastball from the freshman. One and one the count to the Pilot first baseman. The right-hander Huey kicks, delivers, swung on and missed. Stinson probably chased that one. As it's now a 1-2 count. Here's the 1-2 from Huey, fouled off. Pilots have been a little late on some of these pitches, fouling them off towards the parking lot behind the Pilot dugout. Now Stinson awaits the 1-2. Just a little low, 2-2. Scott Reese in the pregame talked about his team getting the bat on the ball. Hitters count here 2-2. As Stinson can't hold up. And she's strikeout victim number 2. So this will bring up third baseman Hannah Darling. Hannah hitting .270 on the season. No homers, 10 RBIs. Sophomore from Kentucky. Bats with nobody on. First pitch is high and outside for a ball, 1-0. Darling in the top half of the inning took a ball right off the hand. Down at third base as she looks at a ball up high, 2-0. Coach Scott Reese came out to check on his third baseman. But Darling is going to stay in the game. She hits here, 2-0. Just up high with the 2-0 is Huey. And now Hannah in the driver's seat with a 3-0 count. Hunter Brummett, the DP, is on deck. Here's the 3-0. Strike over the outside corner. Hannah was taken all the way on that pitch. She'll step back into the right-handed batter's box. Huey's 3-1 delivery. Grounded to third. Nepper up with it. Fires across the diamond to get Darling and end the inning. Pilots go 3 up, 3 down in their half of the first inning. As we head to the bottom half of the inning. It's the Pilots and Mount Vernon tied at 0. During Gates Automotive Annual No sale, nobody makes car buying easier or cheaper. For a limited time, there is no down payment required, no first payment required, and no last payment required on 20 of the hottest selling used vehicles on sale at Gates Chevy World. Gates Toyota, Gates of Granger, and Gates of Elkhart. Check with any Gates staff member for more information. So 2-0 the score as we head to the top of the second inning here in Mishawaka. It'll be 8-9-1 for the visiting Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars. So catcher Savannah Richards will lead it off.
At bat, Savannah Richards.
Richards hitting .265, 2 homers, 12 RBIs. Sophomore from Black Lake, Ohio. Fouls one back as it got a piece of both Shelby Prowse and home plate umpire Richard Bray. Both of them shaking off the cobwebs. Now Stoltz is 0-1. Fouled back into the screen, 0-2. It'll be Richards, followed by Cassidy Kane, and then the top of the order, Maddie Johnston. 2-0 Mount Vernon Nazarene, top of the second. Here's the 0-2 from Stoltz. Swung on and fouled. As that one goes a long way foul into the parking lot. So we'll do the 0-2 again. Stoltz the right hander, kicks, fires just up high, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Just a little low. Everyone in a blue and white uniform thought that was strike 3. Here's the 2-2 from Stoltz. Reached out and fouled onto LaSalle Avenue. Two once again to Richards. Leans into one and flies one to left. It goes over the head of Castro. And heading into second is going to be Richards, and she'll get there standing up.
At bat, Cassidy Kane.
So that'll bring up second baseman Cassidy Kane. 396 hitter, no homers, 3 RBIs. Stoltz's first delivery, taken over the outside corner for a strike. Kane hitting from the left side. Awaits the 0-1 delivery from Stoltz. Squares around a bunt, went right through it, and the count's 0-2. Kane awaits the 0-2, reaches for it and fouls it. Leadoff hitter Maddie Johnston waits on deck. Here's the 0-2 to Kane, reaches out and again fouls it on the third base side. Third baseman Hannah Darling even with the pitching rubber. The 0-2 once again. This time popped up. Prowse is going to jump out of her crouch and she'll get it for out number 1. So we go to the top of the order, Maddie Johnston.
At bat, Maddie Johnson.
Reached on an error. Reached on an error back in the first. She'll take a first pitch up high for a ball. Johnston later scored on a single by Madison Rule, or on a sacrifice rather. Gets bat on it and will fly it foul. And a nice over-the-shoulder catch by Slotman for out number 2. Both Slotman and Darling were going for the ball with their back to the infield. And Slotman with a nice catch. And a line drive, this time off the glove, right to Morgan Bales. And that'll retire Kerlick 1-4-6 on the putout. So the Pilots dance around a leadoff error. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. We're going to the bottom of the second inning. It's Mount Vernon 2 and Bethel nothing as you're listening and watching Pilot Softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Sentir Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Sentir's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Sentir Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Sentir.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
Welcome back to the Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of Bethel College softball. Bottom of the second inning here in Game 1 of the doubleheader between the Pilots and Cougars. Hunter Brummett, the designated player, to lead it off here in the bottom of the inning. First pitch taken low and inside for a ball. It'll be Brummett, Prowse, and Bales. 4, 5, and 6. As the 1-0 pitch from Huey to Brummett is grounded foul right in front of the Pilot dugout. Hunter hitting 178 this year, no homers, 8 RBIs. Former Homestead Spartan down in Fort Wayne. The 1-1 taken just a little inside, 2-1. Just an absolutely gorgeous day here in Mishawaka. Here's the 2-1. Line back into the screen, 2-2. I think Andrew Bowen had something to do with the weather today. So Brummett steps back in, 2-2 the count. Huey, the right-hander, kicks and fires. And Brummett's going to line it into right, but going 2 steps to her left is Bivens. She'll make the catch, out number 1. So that'll bring up Shelby Prowse, leading hitter on the Pilots this year, hitting .389, no homers, 9 RBIs. Here's the first pitch to Shelby. Grounded right to third. Nice scoop as Nepper goes across the diamond to retire Shelby. And 5 in a row retired by Huey. So that'll bring up Morgan Bales, hitting .333 on the season, 1 home run, 11 RBIs. As it's karaoke night up here in the press box. First pitch taken for a ball up high. I mean, I could have sang Shelby Prowse's walk-up song, but I don't know about that one. .1-0 pitch, grounded foul towards the Pilot dugout, evens the count at 1. No, 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for Mount Vernon Nazarene. No runs, no hits, 3 errors for the Pilots. Here's the 1-1, lined right at May over at short. And quickly, the Pilots go 3 up, 3 down. 6 in a row retired by Huey to start the contest. As we head to the top of the 3rd inning, it's Mount Vernon 2 and Bethel nothing. As you're listening to Pilot Softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
This is the sound. This is a Horizon Bank commercial for loans. It's a time most advertisers carve out to tell you all about themselves, why you should like them. In short, a chance for them to talk to you. So why aren't we telling you about our loan services? We're waiting for you to tell us about yourself, because what you have to say is more important than what we have to say. Visit horizonbank.com to get a conversation started.
Welcome back to Gardner Field here on the campus of Bethel College. It'll be the heart of the order for Mount Vernon Nazarene as they lead at 2-0 here in the top of the third. It'll be Megan May, Mackenzie Huey, and Allison Adams going up against Brooke Stoltz. Stoltz worked her way around a leadoff error in the last inning. So, first pitch to May, taken for a ball. May reached on an error back in the first. She'll stand in from the right side. The 1-0 taken inside 2-0. Stoltz looking into her battery mate. The 2-0 pitch is fired in for a strike, 2-1. Pilots and Cougars not the only Crossroads League team in action today. Spring Arbor University made the trip to Concordia, take on the Cardinals, as the 2-1 pitch is blasted foul off of the car of Andrew Bowen, who couldn't have parked it any further away from the ballpark. And he called it as soon as it went off the bat, as the 2-2 is grounded foul just beyond the reach of Hannah Darling at third. All 10 Crossroads League teams in action tomorrow. Mount Vernon makes the trip to Goshen, and Marion comes in to play the Pilots. Here's the 2-2. Grounded to Slotman at short, picks it up and fires it to Stinson. And they'll get Megan May by 3 steps.
At bat, Mackenzie Huey.
So Mackenzie Huey strides to the plate. Struck out looking back in the first. Stoltz countered a strikeout with the bases loaded. And she'll rip one right at Slotman, who ranged about 2 steps to her right and made the catch for a loud out number 2. Huey hit that one on the nose, but good reaction time by Slotman. So that'll bring up Allison Adams. She lines the first one towards the spot where Andrew Bowen's car had occupied. 0-1 the count. Adams flew out to right. And she'll protect herself with that swing. Fouls it beyond the reach of Darling again. Adams flew out to Mari Younger in right in the first inning. Here's the 0-2. Fly to left. It's going to go over the head and off the glove of Castro. Taking a wide turnaround first was Adams, but she will retreat back to first. And that'll bring up Madison Rule.
At bat, Madison Rule.
So Rule steps in. 1 for 1 on the day. Single to center in the first. And she'll line one over the head of Darling at third. But hard enough that Adams has to stay at second. So first and second.
At bat, Courtney Nepper.
And 2 outs. And that'll bring Courtney Nepper to the plate. Nepper popped out to Quinn Slotman at short back in the first. Here's the first pitch from Brooke. Up high for a ball. Brooke got the first 2 hitters. But then back-to-back singles have Mount Vernon in business. Here's a pitch lofted to Castro and left. She'll move over to her left, and she'll make the catch to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and there were 2 runners left on. Heading to the bottom of the third here in Mishawaka. It's Mount Vernon Nazarene 2, Bethel nothing. As you're listening and watching Pilot Softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's always a moment of truth where it's either put up or shut up. We were yelling our hearts out. Even in our weakness, even in our pain, we continued to push. I don't know where the pain went to, but all I know is that I had what it took. I am a United States Marine.
PFC Darrell Willis serves his country as a Marine. Will you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES.
Bottom of the third inning here in Mishawaka. It'll be the bottom third of the order for Scott Reese's Pilots, who are down 2-0. As Maury Younger, the right fielder, will step into the batter's box. Younger hitting .250 on the season. No homers, 2 RBIs. First pitch swinging, fouls it right off the pole. 0-1. Pilots looking for their first base runner and first hit of the contest. Here's Huey's 0-1 delivery right down Broadway. 0-2. Huey with 2 strikeouts. Looking to add to that total with the 0-2. Right over the outside corner, strike 3. That'll bring up the left fielder, Maribel Castro. 302 on the season, 2 homers, 18 RBIs. Second on the team behind Quinn Slotman in that category. First pitch taken low and inside for a ball. Castro, the freshman from Oceanside, California. Awaits the 1-0. Up high 2-0. Corner infielders even with their respective bags. Nepper at third, Adams at first. Here's Huey's 2-0. Low and inside 3-0. Maryland Showalter on deck. Here's Huey's 3-0 delivery right down the middle, strike 1. It's only the second time today that Huey has gone to 3 balls on a hitter. There's the 3-1 delivery. Low and outside, ball 4, and the Pilots have their first base runner. Center fielder Maryland Showalter now heads to the plate in the right-handed batter's box. 286 hitter, 1 homer, 7 RBIs for the sophomore from Marquette Heights, Illinois. Showalter squares around a bunt, pulls the bat back. It'll be a ball, and swiping second is going to be Castro. Castro's third stolen base of the season. Showalter now with a 1-0 count. Not bunting this time, and she'll take a strike. Evens the count at 1. Huey's 1-1 delivery swung on and missed by Showalter. It's 1-2. Top of the order in Quinn Slotman on deck. 1-2, the count to Showalter, who will loft one in the air foul into a popular destination for foul balls today, the parking lot. Huey's 1-2 delivery again, swung on and missed. Showalter went for one that was over her head for out number 2. 4 strikeouts now for Mackenzie Huey. And that'll bring Quinn Slotman to the plate. Slotman struck out her first time. Huey's first pitch taken down low for a ball, 1-0. Castro, the runner at second. Walked and then stole second. Here's the 1-0 to Slotman. Lined into left. That's got the distance. It is gone. Quinn Slotman gets a fastball over the heart of the plate, and she deposits it into left center field. Home run number 3 on the season. RBIs 25 and 26. And just like that, the Pilots have tied it. Madison Rule went back to the fence, thought she had a play on it, and the wind just picked it up and carried it over the fence. And we got a brand new ball game. As Haley Stinson fouls the first pitch into the glove. So 0-1 the count to the Pilot first baseman. Stinson struck out her first time. And now she's in the hole 0-2. Now the 0-2 from Huey. Reached out and drifting into left, but Rule gets underneath that one, and she'll make the catch for out number 3. But the Pilots get on the board, 2 runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left. As we head to the top of the 4th inning, it's the Pilots and Mount Vernon Cougars tied at 2 as you're watching and listening to Pilots softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, wherever the mission takes us, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back to Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of Bethel College softball. Is a little defensive switch as Mari Younger now moves to left. And Maribel Castro now moves over to right. It'll be 8-9-1 for Mount Vernon Nazarene, who have seen their 2-0 lead evaporate. It'll be Savannah Richards, followed by Cassidy Kane, and then the top of the order with Maddie Johnston. Stoltz's first pitch fouled back into the screen. Since that first inning, Stoltz has only allowed 2 hits and 3 base runners. Here's the 0-1, fouled above and beyond the screen. 0-2. Stoltz looks in, gets the 0-2 sign. Again, fouls it off as a couple pilots go scurrying for cover. The third base dugout. Two runs, 4 hits, no errors for Mount Vernon Nazarene. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 hit, 3 errors for the Pilots. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 called over the outside corner as Richards can't get the bat off the shoulders. Second strikeout, both of the looking variety. And that'll bring Cassidy Kane to the dish. Kane popped out to Shelby Prowse. And this time she'll ground the first pitch right back to Stoltz, who zips it over to first. And quickly, 2 down. That'll bring up Maddie Johnston. Reached on an error and scored in the first. Fouled out to Quinn Slotman in the second. Squaring around to bunt is Johnson, but she'll flail one over to Hannah Darling at third, and just like that, a 6-pitch inning for Brooke Stoltz as the Cougars go 3 up, 3 down, and we'll head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Pilots and Cougars tied at 0, or tied at 2 rather. There's no way I can buy a great SUV for under $2 Benjamins a month, but Gates says yes way. For a limited time, choose from a Chevy Equinox, Nissan Rogue, or Toyota RAV4, starting as low as just $199 a month. Check with any Gates Automotive Group staff member or go to www.gatesautomotive.com for more information. Above Gardner Field here in the campus of Bethel College in Mishawaka, J.P. Gilbert, so glad you could join us for a Monday afternoon matinee on Patriots Day, day of the Boston Marathon. As Hannah Darling set to lead off the bottom half of the 4th for the Pilots. It'll be Darling, Brummett, and Prowse, heart of the order for Scott Reese's ball club. As Darling gets the first pitch and launches it into left field for a base hit. So a nice job by the sophomore. Be aggressive on the first pitch she sees. And the Pilots have their second hit of the ball game. So Hunter Brummett now comes to the plate. Flew out to right back in the second inning. Brummett squares around a bunt. Tried to put one down and fouls it back. 0-1. Shelby Prowse will await on deck. Morgan Bales in the hole. Mount Vernon got their 2 in the first. Pilots 2 in the third. 0-1 to Brummett. Squares around a bunt. This time puts it right down. And a nice job as Huey has only one play, and that's to first, as Kane was covering the bag. And Darling scampers to second, as Ozzy Osbourne blaring through the speakers. That means Morgan Bales is up to the dish. Correction, that's Shelby Prowse. As Shelby's first pitch taken down for a ball, 1-0. Prowse grounded out to Courtney Nepper at third, back in the second inning. Here's the 1-0. Over the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. Huey, 4 strikeouts, only 1 walk. Here's the 1-1. Flying out to center field. Back on it is Johnston. She'll make the catch. And holding at second is Hannah Darling. That'll bring Morgan Bales to the plate. Bales flew out to Megan May at short to end the second inning. First pitch taken over the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. Bales hitting from the right side. Awaits the 0-1. Pops it up. Underneath it is Richards in foul territory. She loses it. And Bales now has new life. Catchable ball for Richards. Know if she lost it in the sun. But in any event, Bales has some redemption. There's the 0-2. Line to short. May bobbles it at first, and she'll reach as Bales quickly gets down the line. It'll be an error on May, and that will extend the inning for Mari Younger. Younger struck out looking back in the third. First pitch is Younger thought about bunting, got the bat back. It's 1-0. Bales 1 of 1 in the stolen base department. As Younger again looks bunt, then pulls the bat back, 2-0. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Cavalier-like dash by Bales over at first. And 2-0 pitch taken over the outside corner for a strike, 2-1. Maribel Castro waits on deck. Here's the 2-1 from Huey. Up high, 3-1. There's a throw down to third. Nowhere close to the bag, as Darling will slide in. So 3-1 now to Younger. Pilot left fielder looks at the 3-1 pitch up high and inside. And the bases are packed full of Pilots. So Maribel Castro, who already has 1 grand slam on the season, will come to the plate. She walked and scored on Quinn Slotman's 2-run blast in the third. As Richards and Huey are done talking. And Castro moves in. Here's the first pitch. Right over the outside corner, strike, 0-1. Darling, the runner at third, Bales, the runner at second, Younger at first. Pilots with a chance to break the tie. Here's the 0-1. Younger bloops it into center, but on it is Johnston, and she'll make the catch to end the inning. So no runs, a hit, 1 error, and 3 left on for the Pilots in their half of the fourth. We're going to the top half of the fifth here in Mishawaka. It's Mount Vernon Nazarene 2, Bethel 2, as you're listening to Pilots Softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
When your child's in the hospital, the last thing you want to do is to leave their bedside.
If we had to leave the hospital at any time, it would have drove us nuts.
The family room was definitely a blessing for us. We needed to be close to our daughter, and it gave us exactly what we needed at that time.
Make a difference in the life of a family when they need it most. Give to the Ronald McDonald House at Memorial Children's Hospital in South Bend. Donate to our new house at loveshinethrough.org.
Back in Mishawaka, Mount Vernon Nazarene and Bethel tied up at 2 in game 1 of our doubleheader. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for Mount Vernon Nazarene in their half of the fifth inning. Jen Kurlik, who singled and grounded out in her 2 previous plate appearances. His first pitch is taken low and inside for a ball, 1-0. Kurlik, May, and Huey. The 1-0 taken over the inside part of the plate for a strike, 1-1. The 1-1 from Stoltz again. Same location, same result, 1-2. Kurlik just can't get the hands around. This time gets a little more of the plate and a fly ball. Underneath it is going to be Bales, and she'll make the catch for out number 1. 5 in a row retired by Brooke Stoltz. That'll bring Megan May to the dish. May reached on an error and grounded out. It's the first pitch taken just a little high, 1-0. Stoltz looks in, gets the sign. The 1-0 delivery is popped up, and Hannah Darling gets underneath it. She'll make the catch. Back-to-back pop-outs. And now Mackenzie Huey. Struck out looking in the first and lined out to Slotman over at short back in the third. Stoltz's first pitch is blasted towards some of the cars in the parking lot. Huey well out in front of that one. This time she gets a hold of one, and she is going to put it over the wall in center. Looked like it was going to hit the top of it, and it cleared it by about an inch. But it got out of here in a hurry, and it's now 3-2. Huey's 5th home run of the season, RBI number 22. And it's now 3-2 Mount Vernon Nazarene. So a line shot for Huey. As new first baseman Caitlin Perkins flies out to Younger in left for the third out of the inning. But the Cougars strike for a run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner, and no runners left on as we're going to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Mishawaka. It's Mount Vernon Nazarene 3 and the Pilots 2 as you're listening to Pilots Softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and a proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund, and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org.
Bottom of the 5th here in Mishawaka. The Pilots find themselves down 3-2. As it'll be 9-1-2 here in the 5th. Marilyn Showalter to lead it off. First pitch taken for a ball. 1-0 the count to Showalter, who struck out back in the 3rd. Showalter's going to chop one into left for a base hit. Out of the reach of May, it's short. So Showalter's aboard. 3 hits now for the Pilots. So top of the order now for the Pilots, as Quinn Slotman steps in. Struck out in the 1st and launched a 2-run homer to left center in the 3rd. She'll take one up high for a ball. Two runs, 3 hits for the Pilots, 3 runs, 5 hits for Mount Vernon Nazarene. And Slotman foul tips one into the glove of Richards. One the count to the freshman shortstop. She'll take one outside, 2-1. Caitlin Perkins stays in the ballgame. She's at first. Slotman digging in from the right side. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Just low, it scoots by Richards. And hustling down to second is Showalter. So now 3-1 the count to Slotman. Haley Stinson awaits on deck. Here's the 3-1 to Slotman. Inside for a ball. And the Pilots have the first 2 runners on, and that'll bring up Stinson. Stinson struck out in the 1st, flew out to Madison Rule in left, back in the 3rd. Squares around to bunt. She'll bunt one foul on the first pitch. Nepper, the third baseman, even with the rubber. As, again, Stinson tries to get the bat on the ball by bunting. That goes right through. 0-2 the count. Hannah Darling is on deck. Here's the 0-2. Grounded over to Kane, and she'll fire to first for out number 2. Both runners move up. So a productive out from Stinson. And now Hannah Darling with a chance to get the Pilots even. And a gapper will score 2. Slotman at second, Showalter at third. Here's the first pitch. Blooped over the third baseman's head. 1 run will score. Here's another runner trying to score, and she will. It's a 2-run single for Darling. And it's 4-3. So Darling just pokes one over the head of Nepper, scoring 2 on her second hit of the game. And it's 4-3 as Brummett is in. Brummett flew out to right, had a sacrifice bunt back in the 4th. 4-3 Pilots. Brummett squares around a bunt. They're going to say it fouled by Brummett. 0-2. Shelby Prowse awaits on deck. Here's the 0-2 to Brummett, taken low for a ball. And a nice job by Richards to hold Hannah Darling at first. Here's the 1-2 to Brummett. Popped foul over our broadcast location. Pilots with 2 in the inning. As Hunter fouls one towards Scott Reese in the third base coaching box. Two in the third, 2 in the 5th for the Pilots. As Brummett gets underneath one, charging hard is the center fielder, Johnston, who fires it over to Kane. And they'll force out Darling, and Scott Reese is going to come out to argue this one. So Scott Reese talking with Kevin Hahn, the base umpire. As Darling has not moved from second base yet. And they are, in fact, going to call Hannah out. So 8-4 on the putout. That'll bring up Shelby Prowse. Shelby takes one over the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Shelby's grounded out and flown out. There's the 0-1. Over the inside corner, strike 2. Morgan Bales awaiting on deck. Here's the 0-2. Lined, but right at Nepper at third. And that'll be the end of the inning. But the Pilots strike for 2 on the single by Hannah Darling. 2 runs, 2 hits. No errors and 1 runner left on base. We're going to the top of the 6th inning. It's the Pilots 4, Mount Vernon Nazarene 3. Gates gives you the biggest selection of new and used vehicles in Michiana. Choose from 500 new Chevys and Toyotas and 1,000 pre-owned vehicles at Gates Chevy World, Gates Toyota, Gates of Granger, and Gates of Elkhart. Check with any Gates Automotive Group member or go to www.gatesautomotive.com for more information. So, top of the 6th inning we go. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for the visitors from Ohio as the Pilots lead Mount Vernon Nazarene 4-3. It'll be Madison Rule, followed by Courtney Nepper and Savannah Richards, as they're going to try to break through against Brooke Stoltz, who has scattered 5 hits in 5 innings of work. So Madison Rule, who's been one of the toughest outs today. She's the only one of the Mount Vernon starting 9 to reach in both plate appearances. And Stoltz's first pitch over the inside corner, a nice one for a strike, 0-1. Rule singled to center in the first, singled to left in the third. As the 0-1 chopped foul. 0-2. Brooke gets the sign. And the 0-2 delivery. Just a little outside. Shelby Prowse tried to frame that one. Now the 1-2 from Stoltz. Grounded again, foul. So Brooke toeing the rubber with her right foot. Gets the sign from battery mate Shelby Prowse, kicks and fires. Just up high, 2-2. Pilots with 2 in the third, 2 in the fifth. Mount Vernon 2 in the first, 1 in the fifth. So fly ball to left field. Underneath it is Younger, and she'll make the catch.
At bat, Courtney Nepper.
That'll bring Courtney Nepper to the dish. Popped out to short to end the first inning. Flew out to left to end the third. Tried to check her swing, couldn't do it. As the bat broke the plane, and it's 0-1. Corner infielder is about 2 steps in. As the 0-1 taken outside for a ball, 1-1. Stoltz gets the sign, the 1-1 delivery. Just up high, 2-1. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for the Pilots in their half of the 6th inning. Is heads up in the Pilot dugout as Nepper fouls that one off. And leaving the count at 2-2. Stoltz delivers. Ground ball right back to her in the circle. And she'll send it over to Stinson for out number 2.
At bat, Savannah Richards.
So Savannah Richards, the Cougars catcher, now at the plate. Reached on an error in the second, struck out looking back in the fourth. First pitch delivery up high. 1-0. Brooke has been brilliant in this contest. 1-0 deliveries fouled into the screen. Ran into trouble in the first, allowed the 2 runs on the 2 hits, but has settled down. Scattered 3 hits and just 1 run in the last 4 2/3. As the 1-1 pitch is taken for a ball, 2-1. Richards trying to keep the inning alive for Cassidy Kane. Here's the 2-1. Fouled back in the screen, even at 2s. Stoltz looks in. The 2-2. Fouls back towards LaSalle Avenue. Stoltz has retired 8 of the last 9 she's faced. As chopping it foul is Richards. So Richards battling. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat. She'll call time. Not granted. Here's the 2-2. Lined foul into the Pilot bullpen. Stoltz is 2-2 once again. Fouled towards the Pilot dugout. Stoltz got ruled a fly to left and got Nepper to ground right back to the circle. Trying to put away Richards, the 2-2. Chopped foul again to LaSalle Avenue. Stoltz trying to figure out what she's got to do to put Richards away. Here comes the 10th pitch of the at-bat. Stoltz is 2-2. A changeup, it's popped out. Coming in is Younger. She calls off Slotman and Darling, and she'll make the catch to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Mount Vernon Nazarene in their half of the 6th inning. It's the Pilots 4 and Mount Vernon Nazarene 3 as you're listening to Pilots Softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They say growth is a journey and not a destination. At Teachers Credit Union, we agree. Helping our communities grow has been our mission ever since we began our journey in 1931. And supporting our members' growth has helped us to become Indiana's largest credit union. And we're just getting started. Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity.
Back here in Mishawaka, Indiana, the Pilots lead Mount Vernon Nazarene 4-3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's going to be Morgan Bales, Mari Younger, and Maribel Castro as they try to tack on to this 4-3 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As first pitch to Bales is taken for a strike, 0-1. Bales popped out to Megan May at short back in the 2nd inning. And she reached on an error in the 4th, and she'll smack one down to 3rd. But up with it is Nepper, and she'll throw out Bales by a couple steps. So one gone. That'll bring up Mari Younger. So the Pilot left fielder started the game in right. Struck out looking in the third, walked in the fourth. And she'll take the ball low, 1-0. Younger, the left-handed hitter, waits. And a strike over the outside corner. Nice framework by Savannah Richards. That's the 1-1 to Younger. Foul back to the screen, 1-2. Sophomore from Stevensville, Michigan. Did her prep at Lakeshore. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Lined right at the shortstop, May, who didn't even have to move. And there's 2 outs. So Maribel Castro is up. Castro walked, stole second, and scored on the Slotman homer in the third. And she also flew out to Maddie Johnston in center in the fourth. And she'll take a pitch in the dirt for a ball. Marilyn Showalter waits on deck. Here's the 1-0. Just up high, 2-0. Just a reminder, Game 2 will start approximately 20 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. Here's the 2-0. Popped in the air into left. Making the catch is Rule, and that will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down for the Pilots in their half of the 6th inning. Go to the top of the 7th. Pilots lead it 4-3 as you're listening to Pilots Softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Sentir Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Sentir's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Sentir Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Sentir.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
The young men and women who become United States Marines come from our hometowns to become a part of something greater than themselves. This commitment represents the highest level of steadfast allegiance to the betterment of our communities, our country, and our Marine Corps. The journey will be one of the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This.
So Carmen Huntsberger, the pinch hitter, will lead off the top of the 7th. She gets plunked on the first pitch. So Huntsberger, who came in hitting .235, is now going to trot her way to first. And they're going to re-enter Cassidy Kane. So Kane now the runner at first. That'll bring up Maddie Johnston. Johnston has popped out twice and reached on an errand. She tries to bunt and foul one off. 0-1. Three runs, 5 hits for Mount Vernon Nazarene. As Johnston looks at one low and outside for a ball, 1-1. 4 runs, 4 hits for the Pilots. As the 1-1 is waved at by Johnston, 1-2. Johnson steps out of the batter's box, now comes back in. Squares around a bunt, pulls it back, will ground it over to Darling, who will fire it to first and get the speedy Johnston by a step. So Kane moves to second, and that'll bring Jennifer Kurlick up. Kurlick 1 for 3, singled and scored back in the first. Has grounded out and popped out. First pitch, popped to left. Underneath it is Younger, and she'll make the catch for out number 2. And the Pilots are an out away from taking the first game of the doubleheader. Megan May reached on an error in the first, has grounded out and popped out. Here's the first pitch from Stoltz. A little high, a little inside, 1-0. Mackenzie Huey awaits on deck. Stoltz hopes that she'll be anchored there. The 1-0. Right over the middle of the plate for a strike, 1-1. Kane dancing off a second. Will get back as Stoltz will toe the rubber. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. Stoltz gets the signal. The 1-1. Popped foul. Hustling is Slotman and Younger, and they'll watch it drift into the Bethel bullpen. The Pilots are a strike away from their 7th conference win and 12th overall. Stoltz looks into Shelby Prowse for the sign. She gets it. The 1-2. Popped foul as the entire infield will run out of real estate. May trying to keep Mount Vernon alive in game 1. Stoltz hoping to end it. Stoltz, right-hander, kicks and fires and bounces one in. A nice job by Shelby Prowse behind the plate. And she'll keep Cassidy Kane at second. Stoltz looks in for the sign. She gets it, the pitch. Up high, 3-2. Here's the 3-2 delivery from Stoltz. Grounded to Darling at third. Fires it across the diamond, and the Pilots win. A great backhanded stop by Darling, who fired it over to first for the out, and the Pilots take game 1 of the doubleheader 4-3. I'm going to step aside when we come back. We'll have the totals for you for game 1. We'll get you set for game 2 as the Pilots improve to 7-18 in the conference and 12-25 overall. You're listening to Pilots softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
It's pouring rain. It's real dark outside. Your heart starts beating really, really fast. You've never done anything so hard in your life. This is boot camp. This is the real thing now. It's such extreme pain, you don't understand how you can finish. I began to feel that there was no way I was ever going to have my title, U.S. Marine. It takes special inner strength, courage, and desire to do this. I was just thinking, I'm so close. I'm so close. And when I finished, I was like, I'm done. I did it. The moment I will never forget is when this drill instructor that I admire so much comes up to me straight in front of me, put her arm on my shoulder and said, "Good morning, Marine."
PFC Summer Volkman became a Marine. Can you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back to the Regional Radio Sports Network as the Pilots defeat Mount Vernon Nazarene in Game 1 of the doubleheader, 4-3. We're going to go over the final totals for you. For the victorious Pilots, 4 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors. They left 4 on base. For Mount Vernon Nazarene, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, and they left 6 on base. Winning pitcher is Brooke Stoltz. She's now 10-10 on the season. Losing pitcher is Mackenzie Huey. She is now 4-4. Each team hit a home run in today's contest. Mackenzie Huey went deep for her 5th home run of the season. Quinn Slotman went yard for her 3rd of the season. The Pilots improved to 12-25 on the season. They're now 7-18 in Crossroads League play. Mount Vernon Nazarene drops to 16-15 and 11-10 in conference play. We're going to power everything down for the next 15 minutes, and just a reminder that Game 2 will happen at approximately 5 p.m. That's going to do it for our coverage of Game 1 of the Bethel Pilots and Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars. From all of us at the Regional Radio Sports Network, J.P. Gilbert. Once again, the final score. Pilots win Game 1, 4-3 over Mount Vernon Nazarene. From all of us at Regional Radio Sports, have a great night. We hope to see you for Game 2 at approximately 5 p.m. Good night, everybody. Hi, this is JP from the Regional Radio Sports Network. How are you? I'm good. First game between Bethel and Mount Vernon Nazarene softball has ended. Game 1 between Bethel and Mount Vernon Nazarene. First up, that one has ended. Yep. And we're okay. They're looking at starting Game 2 in approximately 15 minutes. Yep. Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
When your child's in the hospital, the last thing you want to do is to leave their bedside.
If we had to leave the hospital at any time, it would have drove us nuts.
The family room was definitely a blessing for us. We needed to be close to our daughter, and it gave us exactly what we needed at that time.
Make a difference in the life of a family when they need it most. Give to the Ronald McDonald House at Memorial Children's Hospital in South Bend. Donate to our new house at loveshinethrough.org.
From Bethel College and the Teresa and John Gardner Field here on the campus of Bethel College in Mishawaka, the Regional Radio Sports Network is proud to present Bethel Pilots Softball. It's game 2 of the doubleheader between the Pilots and the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene University. The Pilots took game 1 of the Twin Bill 4-3 as we're getting set for game 2. We had a chance to talk with Scott Reese before the games, get his thoughts on today's opponent. Welcome back to the Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of Bethel Pilots softball. Glad to be joined pregame by the head coach of the Bethel College Pilots, Scott Reese. And Scott, let's go back to Thursday. Reserve squad split a doubleheader with the Taylor Trojans. What are some of the things that you as a coaching staff picked out as positives from those two games? Two games that you played really well against Taylor.
I really liked what we did offensively for sure in game one. I thought Bethany McKibben, Maddie Morgan, Maddie Reese really did a great job at the plate. Bethany Caldwell has been doing well for us, getting her at bats in those games as well. And then our pitching, did what they had to do in that first game. And we just got to a point in game two where we didn't want to throw Bethany or Maddie anymore because we needed them for Friday and Saturday. So Abby did a great job for us, both at the dish and in the circle, especially since she hasn't even been practicing pitching. She just came in to throw for us because she had thrown before. So I've really enjoyed this group, this entire group, the reserve and the varsity, and we're all one team. And the reserve games are just for the girls that aren't getting their at-bats in those varsity games. So it's just a good opportunity for them to get some playing time and hopefully get some confidence in collegiate experience.
Talked about that Huntington series on Friday. Just you're shaking your head a little bit. It was a tale of two kinds of games. The first game, just an offensive slugfest from both teams. You had Maribel Castro went deep. You also had Morgan Bales that went deep. Quinn went deep. It just seemed like everything that you guys were touching with the bats was going somewhere where their defense wasn't. And then you go into game two, and Brooke comes in and just shuts them down. Talk about, the good teams find a way to win those one-run games, and you guys are a good team. But it's got to be difficult to watch a game like game one where, the balls are going all over the place. But at the same time, it seems extremely easy to watch a game like the one Brooke pitched in game two.
Oh, they're both fun to be a part of, and you said I was shaking my head, but I'd much rather be shaking my head with a smile than with a grimace, and so that's kind of where I was at right there. It's nice to come out with 2 wins and 2 totally different type of wins. We were hitting the ball well early, and the wind was blowing out, but every single one of those balls that we hit, I don't think the wind helped at all. I think all the home runs they had, all but one, I thought were well-deserved as well. I thought one was just a routine fly ball that made its way out, but that's what happens when you get that wind and things like that, and pitchers get the ball across the plate to a point where good hitters make good contact. So I was really, really pleased with the way that our offense played, our defense, and even our pitching keeping us where they had to keep it. We're up 15-4, and Huntington comes back at 16-15 to take the lead, and our pitching shut it down at that point too. So, and got us to a point where we could score the 2 runs and win the game late.
You then turned around and played Spring Arbor on Saturday, and even though you guys came out on the short end of the stick with 2 losses, Shelby was a real bright spot at the dish, had 4 hits, I believe, in the game, and really is starting to see the ball much better than she did at the beginning of the year.
She's coming off an injury, so it has taken her a while to kind of get back in the swing of things. But now that she's back where she needs to be, I like what the middle of our lineup can do. That's where we're kind of missing things halfway through the season, maybe 60% of the way through the season. We were having some issues trying to get the middle of our lineup to help us out, and so she's going to be a big part of that. And she had a great day. Defensively, we struggled, and you can't expect to win with 6 errors in a doubleheader, and that's what happened. And honestly, they had us for 6 errors. They could have easily given us 7 or 8, but that's the way we'll take what they gave us at this point, and hopefully just move forward and just forget about that performance defensively, especially. Our pitching struggled just to stay consistent. In our offense, I mean, we need all 3 aspects to work, and our offense was okay. Shelby was the bright spot for sure, and I think Shelby had as many hits as the rest of the team combined. So we just got to come back here today against a really tough Mount Vernon team that really took it to us at their place last week, and hope that we can mentally get ourselves prepared as well as physically to come out here and put all 3 aspects of the game together.
So many games crammed into a short part of the schedule. Are you worried at all about fatigue, whether it be physical or mental at this point of the season?
I think you're always worried about it, but at some point you just gotta trust that they're prepared and that we prepared them and they prepared themselves well enough for this position. I think the physical fatigue is always going to be there. The big thing is overcoming the mental fatigue and getting through that mental block of, we played 6 games in 3 days. Now we're still in the middle of a 10-game in 6-day block, and we've got a tough Mount Vernon team today and then an undefeated Marion team tomorrow. So if you're not ready and if you're not mentally or physically prepared, those teams are going to take it to you, so we better be.
You played Mount Vernon less than a week ago. What are some of the things that they did in that doubleheader that caused a lot of frustration on your end? But on the other side of the coin, what are some of the things that you were able to exploit to your advantage in that doubleheader that could lead to keys to victory today?
Well, they got ahead of us in both games, and so we weren't able to exploit as much as I wanted to. They also had double-digit hits in both games, so they'll hit the ball. And they're solid at the plate. They're solid defensively. Their pitching is great. They do all 3 aspects. We just got to catch them and get our game going. We can't worry about what they do. We just have to play our game, and if we can play our game, I like our chances and the ability to compete here.
All right, Scott. Hey, best of luck today.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
I want to thank Scott Reese for the pregame interview today as we're getting set to start Game 2 between the Pilots and Mount Vernon Nazarene. Starting lineup for Game 2, it's going to be Jennifer Kurlick leading off, and she'll do the pitching. Maddie Johnson will bat second. She'll play in center. Megan May will bat third and play at short. It'll be Mackenzie Huey, the designated player, to hit cleanup, followed by Madison Rule, the left fielder, will hit fifth. Caitlin Perkins will bat sixth and play at first. She'll be followed by Courtney Nepper, the third baseman, hitting seventh. Batting eighth, doing the catching, Carmen Huntsberger. And batting ninth and over at second is going to be Cassidy Kane. The flex player will be Tyler Bivens, and she'll play in right. Defensive alignment will be Mari Younger, Marilyn Showalter, and Maribel Castro, the outfield from left to right. Hannah Darling at third. It will be Quinn Slotman at short, Morgan Bales at second, and Megan Riley at first. The battery of Shelby Prose behind the plate, and Haley Stinson doing the pitching as pitch number 1 at 5:08 p.m. is low and outside for a ball. There's Kurlick leading it off, and she'll take a 1-0 pitch for a strike over the inside corner. Kurlick 1 for 4 in Game 1 with a run scored. Pilots took Game 1 of the Twin Bill 4-3. And Kurlick smokes one to first, but a nice job by Riley to grab it on the backhand and step on first. And Kurlick is retired. That'll bring up Maddie Johnston, center fielder. Johnston reached on an error, scored, and was retired in her next 3 at-bats. The first pitch is low and inside for a ball, 1-0. Johnson squares around. She'll take one low and outside for a ball, 2-0. Just underway here in Game 2. Pilots looking to sweep the Cougars as the 2-0 pitch is just up high, 3-0. Megan May awaits on deck. Here's the 3-0 delivery from Stinson. Outside for a ball, a 4-pitch walk. And Johnston's aboard. Megan May reached on an error in Game 1 and was retired her other 3 plate appearances. We'll get you Stinson's season line in a second. First pitch taken for a strike, 0-1. Stinson 2-10 on the season. 14th game start, 19th overall. It's the 0-1 pitch. Lined foul. Just out of the reach of Hannah Darling. 7.38 ERA. 14 strikeouts, 15 walks, in 56 innings pitched. Opposing hitters are hitting .366. Here's the 0-2. High and outside, 1-2. Mackenzie Huey waits on deck. Here's the 1-2 from Stinson. Lined into left field for a base hit. Johnston will stop at second. And the Cougars have 2 on with 1 out. Huey 1 for 3 in game 1, but that one was a big one. And she hit one over the left center field fence. First pitch just outside, 1-0. Johnston, the runner at second. May, the runner at first. Here's the 1-0 offering. Just outside, 2-0. Stinson staying away from Huey. Haley gets the sign, the 2-0. Lined it to third, goes off the glove of Darling. It'll be an E5 as Slotman nearly threw out Huey. But the bases are loaded with 1 out. And that'll bring up Madison Rule. Rule went 2 for 3, 2 singles. She takes first pitch strike down the middle. Corner infielders are in. Here's the 0-1. Rule chops one to Slotman. She goes to third for 1 out. And that'll force May at third. But Johnston will score on the play. Huey takes second. And Rule at first on the fielder's choice. So that'll bring up Caitlin Perkins. Perkins 0 for 1 in her early at bat. And she lines one to left, but underneath it is Younger. And she'll make the catch to end the inning. 1 run, 1 hit. There was 1 error and 2 runners left on base. Going to the bottom half of the first inning, Mount Vernon Nazarene 1, Bethel coming to bat. Here's the Pilots' batting order for Game 2. It'll be Quinn Slotman leading it off and playing it short. Haley Stinson will bat second. She'll do the pitching. Hannah Darling will bat third, and she'll play at third. Slotman, Stinson, Darling, the top of the order for Scott Reese's crew. Hunter Brummett will bat cleanup, and she'll be the designated player. Shelby Prowse will bat fifth behind the plate, and Morgan Bales will be the second baseman hitting sixth. Brummett, Prowse, and Bale 4, 5, and 6. Mari Younger will be in left, Maribel Castro in right, and Marilyn Showalter in center, bottom third of the order for the Pilots. Younger, Castro, and Showalter. And Megan Riley, the flex player, will be at first. For Mount Vernon Nazarene around the outfield, it'll be Madison Rule in left, Maddie Johnston in center, and Tyler Bivens in right. Courtney Nepper at third, Megan May at short, Cassidy Kane at second, and Caitlin Perkins at first in the battery of Carmen Huntsberger and pitcher Jennifer Kulik. Quinn Slotman takes the first pitch strike. Kulik 8-4, 13th start of the season, on for the 15th time. 3.32 ERA, walked 7, struck out 44. Opponents hitting .297. As Slotman fouls one off at the plate, 0-2. One nothing Mount Vernon Nazarene, bottom of the first, as Slotman takes one up high, 1-2. It'll be Slotman, Stinson, and Darling. Here's the 1-2, fouled off by Slotman. Pilots were behind 2-0 in game one, came back and won 4-3. Pilots find themselves again down 1-0. Here in the second game of the doubleheader, Slotman lines one foul just out of the reach of Courtney Nepper at third. And Slotman not willing to give an inch to Kulik, the senior from Lewis Center, Ohio. Here's the lefty's 1-2 delivery, fouled. Oh, lined in. Lined into right for a base hit, opposite field. I lost track of the softball for a second, and it ended up going into right for an opposite field hit. So the Pilots have their first base runner, and that'll bring up Haley Stinson. And Stinson lays down a nice bunt. Kulik's only play is to first. So 1-4 on the play as Slotman goes to second. And that'll bring up Hannah Darling. Darling 2 for 3 in game one with a pair of singles. And Hannah takes first pitch low and inside for a ball. Slotman the runner at second. 1 out and a 1-0 count to the number 3 hitter in the Pilot batting order. Here's the 1-0. Lofted to second, camping underneath it is Kane, and she'll make the catch for out number 2. So here comes Hunter Brummett, the designated player. Hunter flew out, had a sacrifice bunt, and reached on a fielder's choice in game one. First pitch to Hunter, taken over the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. Shelby Prowse awaits on deck. Here's the 0-1. Good eye by Hunter to take that one low, 1-1. Kulik not messing around. Just 7 walks in 69 2/3 innings pitched coming in. Now it's 2-1. So Brummett, the former Homestead Spartan, looking to get the Pilots on the board here in game 2. And that one's just a little low, 3-1. So Hunter in the driver's seat here. Here's the 3-1 to Brummett. And she'll punch one, but right to Perkins over at first for out number 3. So a leadoff single by Slotman is for naught, as the Pilots are then retired with the next 3 hitters. As we're heading to the top half of the second inning, It's Mount Vernon 1, Bethel nothing, as you're listening to Pilot Softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They say growth is a journey and not a destination. At Teachers Credit Union, we agree. Helping our communities grow has been our mission ever since we began our journey in 1931. And supporting our members' growth has helped us to become Indiana's largest credit union. And we're just getting started. Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity.
Welcome back to Bethel Pilots Softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network. The Pilots trailing Mount Vernon Nazarene 1-0. It'll be Courtney Nepper, followed by Carmen Huntsberger and Cassidy Kane for the Cougars. Yes. Stinson looks in, gets first pitch over for a strike, 0-1. Haley Stinson, former Adams Central Flying Jet, sees her 0-1 pitch get laid off by Courtney Nepper, 1-1. Nepper 0 for 3 in game 1. Pop out, a fly out, and a ground out. Here's the 1-1. Popped in the air. Coming in on it is Castro, and she drops it. And Nepper is standing on first. Castro had a long way to run for that one. So they're debating whether an error or a single is going to be the call. As the first pitch to Huntsberger is grounded foul. Huntsberger was hit by a pitch in game 1. So E9 the official score as Huntsberger bunts the 0-1 delivery foul. So the fourth error of the doubleheader by the Pilots. Correction, the fifth error by the Pilots in the doubleheader. Second in this game. And Nepper's on first. As the 0-2 delivery from Stinson is fouled by Huntsberger. We'll do the 0-2 again. Cassidy Kane waits on deck. Here's the 0-2 from Stinson. Grounded just foul down the first base line. So Stinson, right foot on the rubber. Here's the 0-2 once again. Popped in the air. Calling for it is Bales, and she'll make the catch for out number 1. So that'll bring up Cassidy Kane. Fouled out and grounded out in game 1.
At bat, Cassidy Kane.
1-0 Mount Vernon Nazarene. As first pitch is swung on and missed. Going down to second and beating the throw is Nepper. As Prowse did a double clutch on the throw down. And Nepper swipes second. Was laying down a bunt is Kane. Only play for Stinson is at first. And with Bales covering, 1-4 on the putout. Nepper hustles down to third.
At bat,
Jennifer Kurlick is now the batter. She grounded out to Megan Riley over at first in the first inning. For Nepper, that's her first stolen base of the season. First pitch to Kurlik is up high for a ball, 1-0. Corner infielder is about 4 steps in front of the bag. Here's the 1-0. Kurlik lines one into left center for a hit, and that's going to go to the fence. Kurlik rounds first. She's going to head to second. And on a run-scoring double by Kurlik makes it 2-0. So the 1-0 fastball gets a little bit too much of the plate, and Kurlik deposits it into the left center field gap to up the score to 2-0. That brings Maddie Johnson to the plate. Johnson walked and scored in the first. Yeah, she'll take one over the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Johnson takes that 1-0-1 delivery up high, evens the count at 1. Johnson hitting from the right side, squares around a bunt, pulls the bat back, will ground it to Bales at second, who throws to Stinson at first for the out. 4-3 on the putout to end the inning. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We're going to the bottom of the second. It's Mount Vernon Nazarene 2, Bethel 1. During Gates Automotive's annual No sale, nobody makes car buying easier or cheaper. For a limited time, there's no down payment required, no first payment required, and no last payment required on 20 of the hottest selling used vehicles on sale at Gates Chevy World, Gates Toyota, Gates of Granger, and Gates of Elkhart. Check with any Gates staff member for more information. 2-0 our score here in Mishawaka as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 for the Pilots. Shelby Prowse, Morgan Bales, and Mari Younger. As Ozzy Osbourne starts playing in the speakers. That can only mean that Shelby Prowse is coming up. Prowse went 0 for 3 in game 1. She takes a first pitch strike. Former Concordia Lutheran cadet. Grounds the 0-1 delivery foul, and it's 0-2. Two 2-0 Mount Vernon Nazarene. Cougars have pushed across single runs in the first 2 innings. As Prowse fouls one into the pole. Count remains 0-2. Kurlik's 0-2 delivery. Low and inside for a ball. Nice stop by Huntsberger, the Mount Vernon Nazarene catcher. As the 1-2 delivery. Outside for a ball, 2-2. Morgan Bales awaits on deck. Here's the 2-2. Line to left. That one's got some distance. It is gone. Shelby Prowse gets a hold of one and launches it to left field for a home run. Prowse with her first homer of the season, and the lead is cut in half, 2-1. So Morgan Bales has the unenviable task of following the home run. And she'll take one over the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Bales reached on an air, popped out and grounded out. And she swings and misses the 0-1 changeup. 2-1 Mount Vernon Nazarene. And Shelby Prowse hits her first homer of the season. And Bales will ground one foul. Mari Younger waits on deck, with Maribel Castro in the hole. Here's the 0-2. Grounded foul again. This time goes into the dugout. So Kierlich, the left-hander. It's only the second home run she's allowed all season. And a good battle brewing here as Bales has fouled the last 3 pitches off. Kierlich's 0-2 delivery swung on and missed as Bales swung at one over her head. And she's retired for out number 1. So Mari Younger hitting from the left side. 0 for 2. A strikeout and a lineout. Also walked. And she'll take one down low for a ball. 1-0. Pilots looking for their second Crossroads League sweep of the season, as the 1-0 is taken for a strike. 1-1. Here's the 1-1 delivery from Kierlich, taken down low for a ball. 2-1. Kierlich with the 2-1 delivery. They're going to say if she went, she did. As home plate umpire Kevin Hahn checked with base umpire Richard Bray, and Bray rung up Mari Younger. So a 2-2 delivery is grounded and will eventually roll foul. Left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter. And third strike is dropped and will be fired over to first by Huntsberger. And they will get Younger. So that'll bring up Maribel Castro. And Castro takes first pitch ball. Castro 0 for 2 in game 1, but walked and scored on the Quinn Slotman home run, as the 1-0 is swung on and missed. First strike, 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Fouled onto LaSalle Avenue. 1-2. Kierlich peers in. 1-2 pitch is grounded foul. One and two. Marilyn Showalter waits on deck. Here's the 1-2 from Kierlich. Swung on and missed, but the ball gets to the backstop. Hustling down to first is Castro. And she will make it without a throw. So a strikeout for Kurlik. And Showalter will come to the plate. She'll take a strike on the outside corner. Marilyn Showalter, 1 of 2 in the contest. Struck out, singled, and scored, and Showalter will foul one towards the tarp in left field. As they've found the ball that Shelby Prowse deposited in left field. And it's 0-2 to Showalter. Kurlik's left-handed delivery up high, 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Kurlik grounds one to short. It eats up May. And on her horse and heading to third is going to be Castro. So first and third for the Pilots. And Quinn Slotman heads to the dish. So Slotman, who's already singled once, looking to tie the ball game. And she'll do just that, up the middle for a hit. In to score is Castro with the second run of the inning. Showalter moves up. So Haley Stinson now the batter. Sacrifice bunt, her first time up. Takes first pitch low for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 to Stinson. Sharp curveball for a strike, 1-1. Pilots have come back with 2 in the second to tie it. And Stinson swings through that one, and it's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Reached out by Stinson, goes up the middle. Rounding third is Showalter, and she's going to be held up. So Stinson with another single. Back-to-back hits for the Pilots. And that drop third strike and error coming back to haunt Mount Vernon Nazarene as they've loaded the Pilots have loaded the bases. And Hannah Darling is going to get a hold of one, but she's going to pop it right to Johnston in center. And we'll get under it and make the catch. But the Pilots tack on 2. 3 hits, there's 1 error, and the Pilots left the bases loaded. We're heading to the top of the third inning. Pilots and Mount Vernon Nazarene tied at 2.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
first pitch taken high and outside by Megan May. It'll be the heart of the order, 3-4-5 for the Cougars. Against Haley Stinson. As the 1-0 pitch taken down low for a ball, 2-0. 2-2 between the Pilots and the Cougars in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Pilots took Game 1 4-3. As May will line this one up the middle for a base hit. She's 2 for 2. That'll bring up Mackenzie Huey. Huey reached on an error in the first. Here's the first pitch from Stinson, low and outside for a ball. There have been 3 home runs hit today. Huey's hit 1 of them. And she'll take the 1-0 pitch high and outside for a ball, 2-0. Stinson doing a good job of just staying away from Huey. 2-0 pitch. Nice stop by Shelby Prowse. So 3-0 to the designated player of Mount Vernon Nazarene. 3-0 delivery. Is lined foul, out of play. On the first base side, 3-1. May the runner at first. As Madison Rule waits on deck. Here's the 3-1. Taken low for a ball. And Huey will head to first. Madison Rule now up. She reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. And Stinson's first delivery is taken inside for a ball, 1-0. Single runs for Mount Vernon in the first and the second, 2 for the Pilots in their half of the second. Stinson's 1-0 is lined foul, out of play. Evens the count of 1-1. Stinson towing the rubber with her right foot. The 1-1 is bunted right back to Stinson. Only play is to first. And with Morgan Bales covering, Rule is thrown out 1-4. So Huey and May move up 1 base apiece. Then I'll bring up Caitlin Perkins. Perkins flew out to Younger back in the first. And Stinson's first pitch fastball is over the heart of the plate, 0-1. Courtney Nepper waits on deck. Here's the 0-1. Line foul into the Pilot bullpen. So Stinson trying to keep the damage to a minimum. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and fouled towards the parking lot. 0-2. May the runner at third, Huey the runner at second. 0-2 taken high and outside for a ball, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 from Stinson. Lined up the middle for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. Huey coming around second and then third, and she'll score. And a 2-run single for Perkins makes it 4-2. So that'll bring Courtney Nepper to the plate. Reached on an error, stole a base, and scored in the second. Nepper will pop this one up. Prowse underneath it, and she'll make the catch. So 2 outs now in the third inning. And Carmen Huntsberger, who's 0 for 1. First pitch lined right back to Stinson. How do you do? As Stinson saves one from going into center field and retires Mount Vernon Nazarene, but the Cougars get a couple of runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left on base. We're going to the bottom of the third inning. It's the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene 4 and the Bethel Pilots 2 right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Sentir Bank is...
It'll be 4, 5, and 6 coming up for the Pilots in their half of the third inning as Hunter Brummett set to lead it off. It'll be Brummett followed by Pruse and Bales. Brummett popped out to Perkins in her first at bat. She'll take one outside for a ball. 4-2 in favor of Mount Vernon Nazarene. Left-handed hurler, Jennifer Kierlich. Lets fly and hits the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 from Kierlich. Grounded right back to the circle, and Kierlich with an overhand flip for the first out. And that'll bring up the catcher, Shelby Prowse. Prowse homered to left fielder last time up. And she'll take a first pitch strike over the outside corner. And Prowse lines one towards the tarp in left for a foul ball. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 from Kierlich. Low and inside, 1-2. Morgan Bales awaits on deck. Here's the 1-2. Lined off the glove of Nepper into left field. So Morgan Bales comes up. Bales struck out in the first. She gets something, and it's 3 o'clock first pitch. So Cassidy Kane to lead it off, and she scorches one in the center. Coming in on it is Showalter, and she makes the catch. A nice diving catch by the sophomore. And there's one out. So Kierlich comes to the plate, 1 for 2 on the day, and she'll take a first pitch ball outside, 1-0. Kurlick hitting from the left side. Launches a 1-0 pitch, go low for a ball, 2-0. Wind blowing from right to left on an absolutely gorgeous day here in Mishawaka. 2-0 pitch, taken for a strike, 2-1. Couldn't have said the same thing this morning as temperatures were in the mid-30s. But Mother Nature has blessed us with some sunshine today. As the 2-1's taken outside and low for a ball, 3-1. Stinson peers in for the sign, gets it, and the 3-1's over the outside corner for a strike, 3-2. Here's the 3-2. Lined into left center for a base hit. Cutting it off nicely is Younger, and they'll hold Kurlick to a single. Maddie Johnston, the center fielder now at the dish for Mount Vernon. 0 for 1, but walked and scored back in the first. Johnson squares around a bunt, pulls the bat back, and Stinson can't find the handle on a ball that was hit back into the circle.
At bat, Megan May.
So that'll bring Megan May to the plate as Shelby Prowse will go out and talk to her battery mate. So Haley Stinson trying to dance out of trouble. On back-to-back hits. So Kurlick the runner at second, Johnson the runner at first for Megan May. And she'll take a first pitch strike. May is 2 for 2, 2 singles. Scored in the run in the third inning. Here's the 0-1. Lined into left field for a base hit. Coming up with it is Younger. And now the bases are loaded. So 3 straight singles. And Maddie Morgan starts to loosen up in the Bethel bullpen. And Scott Reese is going to grab the entire infield into the circle. Kurlick the runner at third, Johnston the runner at second, May at first. 3 straight singles after Stinson got Kane to fly out to center. And that'll bring up Mackenzie Huey. Nowhere to put Huey. And Huey crushes one to center. And that's off the base of the wall. The runners from Mount Vernon had to hold up, which is a smart play. As Huey gets a single, everyone moves up a base. And it's 5-2. And that'll bring up Madison Rule. Rule reached on a fielder's choice, had a sacrifice bunt. Ground ball to Bales. Bales will tag out Huey and throw to first for the ending inning double play. It'll be 4-3 on the double play. So in the inning for Mount Vernon Nazarene, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, and they left 2 on base. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning here in Mishawaka. It's Mount Vernon Nazarene 5 and Bethel 2. There is no way I can buy a great SUV for under $2 Benjamins a month. Well, Gates says yes way. For a limited time, choose from a Chevy Equinox, a Nissan Rogue, or a Toyota RAV4, starting as low as just $199 per month. Check with any Gates Automotive Group staff member or go to www.gatesautomotive.com for more information. Bottom of the 4th inning here in Mishawaka as the visitors from Mount Vernon Nazarene lead the Pilots 5-2. It's going to be Castro, Showalter, and Slotman due up for the Pilots as Haley Stinson danced out of trouble with the bases loaded and 1 out, only 1 run scored. And Maribel Castro, who struck out but advanced on a wild throw and eventually would score as Castro deadens one right in front of Kurlik and gets thrown out 1-4. So Marilyn Showalter now hitting. Center fielder reached on an error. And she'll foul one off. 0-1. Here's the 0-1 from Kurlik. Grounded to third. Nice scoop by Nepper. And she'll fire it across the diamond to get Showalter. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Quinn Slotman, who's 2 for 2, comes to the plate. Here's the first pitch over the outside corner for a strike. A nice pitch by Jennifer Kurlik. Slotman steps back into the right-handed batter's box, and here's the 0-1. Down low, 1-1. The Cougars have scored in every inning. The Pilots got their 2 in the second as the 1-1 delivery's up high to Slotman. Here's the 2-1 to Quinn. Punched it to Kane, who will fire it to first. And the Pilots are quickly retired. 3 up, 3 down for Bethel in their half of the 4th inning. We go to the top of the 5th. Pilots and Mount Vernon Nazarene tied. Mount Vernon Nazarene leads at 5-2 as you're listening to Pilot Softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
The young men and women who become United States Marines come from our hometowns to become a part of something greater than themselves. This commitment represents the highest level of steadfast allegiance to the betterment of our communities, our country, and our Marine Corps. The journey will be one of the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This
5-2 Mount Vernon Nazarene as we head to the top of the 5th inning. It'll be Perkins, Nepper, and Huntsberger. Due up for the Cougars, who lead at 5-2. Perkins 1 for 2 on the day in the second game. 1 for 3 overall. She flew out in game 1. First pitch from Haley Stinson's up high for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 from Stinson. Low and inside for ball, 2-0. Both teams in action tomorrow. Bethel hosts Marion. Game time, 3 p.m. Mount Vernon makes a trek to Goshen. 2-0 delivery, smashed foul, 2-1. Spring Arbor will be at Huntington. Taylor will be at Grace. And Indiana Wesleyan will be at St. Francis. Stinson's 2-1 offering to Perkins is grounded to third, and they're going to say it just went foul before Hannah Darling touched it. Close call on that one. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Grounded right back to Darling and eats her up. And Perkins will be at first on the air.
At bat, Courtney Nepper.
So third error of the contest for the Pilots. That's the first pitch to Courtney Nepper's taken for a strike. Nepper reached on an error and popped out back in the third. Stinson's 0-1 delivery taken up high, 1-1. It'll be Stinson, Darling, and Brummett due up in the fifth for the Pilots. Stinson lines one off the glove of Bales, and it'll bounce into center for a base hit.
At bat, Carmen Huntsberger.
So the catcher, Carmen Huntsberger, now up. First and second with nobody out. As Huntsberger tried to pull the bat back in time, couldn't do it. And it's a strike. Huntsberger 0 for 2 with a pop out and a line out. Here's the 0-1. Huntsberger rips one foul. And the count will be 0-2. Stinson peers in, gets the sign. Here's the 0-2. Popped foul right at the warning track. Perkins the runner at second, Nepper the runner at first. Cassidy Kane waiting on deck. Here's the 0-2 from Stinson, high and outside, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Driven to left. Back goes Younger. She'll make the catch. And both Perkins and Nepper will go nowhere. So allowed out number one. And Cassidy Kane comes up. Kane with a sacrifice back in the second. Flew out to center in the fourth. And she'll line one right back to Stinson, and they'll double off Nepper for the second double play of the day. So Mount Vernon Nazarene, no runs, a hit, one error, and one runner left on base. We're going to the bottom half of the fifth inning. Mount Vernon Nazarene leads it 5-2 right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
This is the sound of advising. If it's quieter than you expected, that's because it's coming from a Horizon Bank loan advisor who knows the first step in advising is listening, understanding. That the most important aspect of expertise is not what we know, but how we apply it to what we learn about you. Visit horizonbank.com and get a conversation started. This
Bottom of the fifth inning here in Mishawaka as the Pilots trail Mount Vernon Nazarene 5-2. It'll be Haley Stinson, Hannah Darling, and Hunter Brummett. The three H's due up. And Stinson hitting from the left side, 1 for 2. And she'll watch a first pitch fastball over the middle for a strike, 0-1. Here's the delivery from Kurlick, high and outside, 1-1. Just past the hour mark here in game 2. Here's the 1-1 pitch, just low. 1-2, or 2-1 rather. And Stinson lines one up the middle for a base hit. I only got a little bit too much of the plate, and Stinson hammers it back where it came from. That'll bring up Hannah Darling, 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Actually, in the nightcap, Darling went 2 for 3 in game 1. Pilots could surely use a hit right now. And Hannah's going to take a first pitch right down the middle for a strike, 0-1. As the 0-1 pitch taken for a strike, 0-2. Stinson, the runner at first with nobody out. Here's the 0-2. Line foul towards the parking lot. So Darling will step back in. The 0-2. Grounded right back through the circle. It's picked up by Maeve. They'll force out. Stinson 6-4. As Darling reaches on the fielder's choice. And Scott Reese calls time to talk to Hunter Brummett, who is the batter. Brummett 0 for 2 with a pop out and a ground out. So Hunter will dig in. Here's the pitch from Kurlick, swung on and missed by Brummett. As Hunter was looking to put that one over the fence. Kurlick's 0-1 delivery. Hunter turns around and bunts, and it's going to be caught by Huntsberger, the catcher. Going to bring up Shelby Prowse. Shelby 2 for 2, homer and a single. And she'll take a strike over the inside corner. Here's the 0-1. Low and outside, a nice stop by Hirschberger. If Huntsberger doesn't stop that, Darling's got the second standing up. Here's the 1-1. Low and inside, 2-1. Kerlick peers into Huntsberger, gets the sign. Here's the 2-1. Just a little low, 3-1. Kerlick yet to walk a batter. Came in only walking 7. 3-1, a nice little slider. Her pitch had some movement on that one. 3-2. Kerlick's 3-2 delivery. Low for a ball. And Shelby trots down to first. So that'll bring up Morgan Bales. Struck out and reached on a fielder's choice. First pitch just outside for a ball, 1-0. Top of the order due up in the 6th for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Here's the 1-0. Grounded right through the circle, and Kerlick snagged it. She'll fire it over to Perkins, and that'll end the Pilot threat. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left on. We're heading to the top of the 6th inning. It's Mount Vernon Nazarene 5, Bethel 2. You're listening to Pilot Softball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's always a moment of truth where it's either put up or shut up. We were yelling our hearts out. Even in our weakness, even in our pain, we continued to push. I don't know where the pain went to, but all I know is that I had what it took. I am a United States Marine.
PFC Darrell Willis serves his country as a Marine. Will you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES.
So new pitcher for the Pilots in the top of the 6th inning. It'll be Maddie Morgan. Morgan on for the 12th time, 0-1 record. In 24 innings pitched, she has 5 strikeouts and 10 walks. Opponents hitting .383. Stinson moves from the pitcher's circle out to right field. Morgan will go into the 8th spot in the batting order for Maribel Castro. So top of the order for Mount Vernon Nazarene, it'll be Kerlick, Johnston, and May.
At bat, Jennifer Kerlick.
So Kerlick, 2 for 3 in the contest with a double and a single and a run scored. His first pitch from Morgan is taken for a ball, 1-0. There's the 1-0 delivery. Driven to left. Underneath it is Younger, and she'll make the catch for out number 1. So Maddie Johnston is now up, 1 for 2. Has singled and walked. And she'll take a first pitch strike, 0-1. (5-2) Mount Vernon Nazarene leads it. Top of the 6th inning. Johnston thought about bunting, pulls the bat back, and takes one low for a ball. (1-1) delivery. Driven to short. A nice job by Stinson. But Johnston would have beaten the throw. As Slotman was really deep in the hole at short. So second hit of the contest for Johnston. That'll bring up May, who is 3 for 3. May will watch one go over the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Three singles on the day for May in the nightcap. And she'll drive one to left center. That one's going and gone. So May goes yard, and it is now 7-2 in favor of the visitors from Mount Vernon. So that'll bring Mackenzie Huey up. She's reached all 3 times. She reached on an error in the first, walked and scored in the third, and singled in the fourth. And Huey grounds one to short. Slotman, long throw, but gets Huey by a couple steps. And there's 2 outs. So Madison Rule comes to the plate. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first. Laid down a sacrifice in the third and grounded into the first of 2 pilot double plays. Morgan working with a 1-0 count. Sees Rule foul one at the plate. It's 1-1. Caitlin Perkins awaits on deck. Morgan twirling the ball in her right hand, lets it go, and it's popped foul halfway between the dugout and the parking lot. Count is now 1-2 to the Cougars left fielder. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Up high for a ball, 2-2. The 2-2 from Morgan, lined down the line and left. That's going to go all the way to the fence. Rounding first is Rule. She's going to head to second, and she'll have herself a stand-up double. So Caitlin Perkins, now the batter. Flew out to left in the first. Singled in the third, reached on an error in the fifth. And up the middle, a base hit for Perkins. Rounding third and going to score is Rule. And it's now 8-2. So Perkins, being the aggressor, first pitch swinging, goes up the middle. So 4 hits in the inning for the Cougars. And that brings Courtney Nepper to the plate. Nepper reached on an error, popped out to Shelby Prowse behind the plate, and has singled. And a ball taken outside, 2-0. Eight 2 Mount Vernon Nazarene, and they're threatening for more. 2-0 pitch right down the middle. And Nepper just watches it waltz right by her. 2-1. Morgan gets the sign, the 2-1. Outside corner for a strike, 2-2. Be the bottom third of the order for the Pilots in their half of the sixth. Younger, Morgan, and Showalter. Here's the 2-2. Driven to left, but hooking foul. And we'll do the 2-2 again. Carmen Huntsberger waits on deck. Here's the 2-2. Grounded up the middle, right at Morgan, and she'll throw it to first for the out. But the Cougars strike for 3 more on 4 hits, none bigger than the 2-run blast by Megan May. There were no errors and 1 runner left on base. We're going to the bottom of the 6th inning. Mount Vernon Nazarene leads it 8-2 as you're listening to Pilot Softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Mount Vernon Nazarene leads 8-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Mari Younger, followed by Maddie Morgan and Marilyn Showalter. So Younger, who has struck out and grounded out, leads off the bottom of the 6th inning. As she tries to put a bunt down, ends up fouling it off. So 0-1 the count to Younger. She'll take one up high for a ball, 1-1. Kuerlich gets the sign, fires, and Younger goes right to the shortstop, May, on a one-hopper. And May will fire it to Perkins for the out. So Maddie Morgan comes to the plate. It'll be her first appearance of the doubleheader. She's 0 for 8 on the season. First pitch is inside for a ball. Oh for 8 with a run, an RBI, and a walk. And she'll take the 1-0 pitch for a strike. The 1-1 to Morgan. Popped foul. And it's 1-2. Kerlick's 1-2 delivery. Grounded to second, bobbled momentarily, but Kane is still able to throw out Morgan. 4-3 on the putout. Marilyn Showalter now the batter. Reached on an error in the second and grounded out to Courtney Nepper in the fourth. First pitch taken low and inside for a ball, 1-0. It'll be Huntsberger, Kane, and Kerlick, 8, 9, and 1 for Mount Vernon. This is the 1-0 pitch, just a little high, 2-0. Kerlick's 2-0 delivery. Lined foul towards the tarp. Mount Vernon 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 3 in the sixth. As Showalter swings and misses. Pilots got their 2 in the second, which they sent 8 to the plate. The 2-2. Driven to center. Back in. Underneath it is Johnston up against the fence, and she'll make the catch for a loud out, number 3. Pilots go 3 up, 3 down. They're half of the 6th. We're going to the 7th. It's Mount Vernon Nazarene 8 and the Pilots 2. Gates gives you the biggest selection of new and used vehicles in Michiana. Choose from 500 new Chevys and Toyotas and 1,000 pre-owned vehicles at Gates Chevy World, Gates Toyota, Gates of Granger, and Gates of Elkhart. Check with any Gates Automotive Group staff member or go to www.gatesautomotive.com for more information. 8-2 the score here in Mishawaka between the Pilots and Mount Vernon Nazarene. Mount Vernon Nazarene swept the series in Ohio last Tuesday. The Pilots were hoping for a bit of revenge here in Game 2. It has not been the case. And a lot has had to do with the pitch calling of this young lady that's coming up. And that's Carmen Huntsberger, the Cougars catcher. 0 for 3 today at the dish. And she'll let the first pitch go low and outside for a ball. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Grounded to short. Slotman goes over to Riley at first for the out. 6-3 on the putout. So Huntsberger with an 0 for 4 day. And that'll bring Cassidy Kane to the plate. 0 for 3, including a line-out double play. And she'll ground one to Morgan Bales. She'll flip to Megan Riley. And there are 2 down. 4-3 on the putout. So Jen Kerlick, the Cougars pitcher, 2 for 4 with a run scored here in Game 2. But she has been very dominant in the circle. And first pitch strike. It'll be the top of the order for the Pilots in their half of the 7th. Here's the 0-1. Low and outside for ball, 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Outside for ball, 2-0. Maddie Johnston waits on deck. Into the ground goes the softball off the bat of Kurlik. Right to Bales. And Bales, for the second consecutive batter, will throw to Riley for the out. 3 up, 3 down for the Cougars in their half of the 7th. We're going to the bottom half of the inning. Pilots need 6 to tie it. They're down 8-2 as you're listening to Pilots Softball on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, wherever the mission takes us, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
It's pouring rain. It's real dark outside. Your heart starts beating really, really fast. You've never done anything so hard in your life. This is boot camp. This is the real thing now. It's such extreme pain, you don't understand how you can finish. I began to feel that there was no way I was ever going to have my title, U.S. Marine. It takes special inner strength, courage, and desire to do this. I was just thinking, I'm so close. I'm so close.
Top of the 7th inning here, bottom of the 7th inning rather, in Mishawaka. Pilots trailing Mount Vernon Nazarene 8-2. Quinn Slotman, the batter for the Pilots, with a 1-0 count. 2 for 3 here in the nightcap. And Slotman will make it 3 for 4 with a single to right. So Haley Stinson, who's 2 for 3. She'll take one high and outside for a ball. And she'll take the 1-0 pitch outside for a ball, 2-0. Kurlik peering in for the sign, the 2-0. Taken just above the hands, 3-0. Hannah Darling waits on deck. Here's the 3-0. Right down Broadway, 3-1. Kurlik, including today, has only walked 8 batters this season. Stinson puts one right off the bag. It'll go into right field for a hit. Heading to third and making the wide turn is going to be Slotman, who will dive back in. So Stinson with a base hit. And now Hannah Darling, who reached on a fielder's choice her last plate appearance. She's also popped out and flied out. So the Pilots with runners at the corners with nobody out. And Darling will take one up high for a ball. Hunter Brummett waits on deck. We've seen in the past what she can do. Yes. The 1-0 pitch is taken for a strike, 1-1. Darling hitting from the right side, fouls one back. 1-2. Here's the 1-2 to Darling. Lined foul as Slotman was ducking for cover. Slotman the runner at third, Stinson the runner at first. Kerlick's 1-2. Grounded foul. And a nice scoop by head coach Scott Reese. Here's the 1-2. Grounds it to second. As a nice 4-6-3 double play is turned. Kane to May to Perkins, but that will score the run as Slotman crosses home. Third double play turn in this contest. The Pilots have turned 2. And Megan Riley, the flex player, is going to come in and hit for Brummett. Riley hitting .275, no homers, 6 RBIs. And she'll watch one go up high for a ball, 1-0. 8-3 in favor of Mount Vernon Nazarene. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the 1-0. Right at the knees for a strike, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 from Kerlick. Taken for a strike, 1-2. Bounced down to their last strike. Here's the 1-2 from Kerlick. Taken down low, 2-2. Shelby Pruse. Waits on deck. Here's the 2-2. Bounces in. Full count to Megan Riley. The 3-2 pitch. Taken up high for a ball. So Shelby Prowse now the batter. She's been on all 3 times that she's been to the plate. Homer, single, and a walk. She has had Kerlick's number in this contest. Here's the 1-0. Right down the middle for a strike, 1-1. Kerlick, the left-hander, deals and popped up, but falling foul on the first base side. Yes, Abby Glass has picked up a bat, and she'll be called upon to hit for Bales if the inning continues. And ripping it foul down the third baseline this time. Kerlick's 1-2 delivery. Strike 3 called. And that'll do it. So Shelby gets called out looking on a 1-2 fastball, and that will end the contest.